I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. At Wednesday's Senate Small Business Committee hearing, Ranking Member Rand Paul grilled SBA Administrator Isabel Guzman on PPP loans to Planned Parenthood. The Kentucky senator and Guzman clashed over whether or not there are written documents relating to the issue. Paul accused her of making the issue partisan and said that she, quote, won't give us the data. Guzman pushed back, claiming that she has followed all agency rules. Let's listen in to the dramatic debate.
Do you believe the taxpayer has a right to know how you spend their money?
Most definitely, yes, sir.
Do you believe Congress has a right to know how the money is spent, to oversee the process, to examine the paper trail of how decisions are made and how the money is spent?
As I shared with you, I believe in transparency, and I feel like there's a strong responsibility to continue that collaboration and open dialogue.
Have you released to us unredacted copies of the agency records related to Planned Parenthood's PPP loans?
We've responded to your letters. We've also provided you letters to Planned Parenthood, entities from the SBA, all of the data sets underlying PPP with specific analysis of the Planned Parenthood in
We've specifically
particular.
requested all of the records. Have you released all of the records to us?
There are a couple of items that we have not, including, as you mentioned, the names of the staff that were in the process of review. We, that information, as well as the proprietary individual applications, the agency
Have you
has
released
deemed-
to us the communications between you and PPP?
We provided you with the
between
letters
you and
from
Planned
SBA.
Parenthood?
We provided you with the letters from SBA to Planned Parenthood entities, yes.
You have not released to us the communications from Planned Parenthood to you as well in support of their application.
We have not released, any proprietary information.
Have you released to us the information or the deliberative process that went into reversing the Trump administration's policy that had decided that it was illegal to give this money and that they should give this money back? It was illegal to give the money to Planned Parenthood. Have you released to us the deliberative process, any written material on how you came to a different conclusion than the Trump administration?
For clarity, there was no policy or law or anything that the Trump administration put forward. There was a preliminary determination
So there was
letter.
no
that was
deliberative
put forward.
process on your part? There was no discussion? There was never a discussion one day that says, oh, you know what, we think they didn't do this and it's not final. You'd think you'd have a meeting or something and you'd have like a transcript of the meeting where so-and-so says, wow, that was a crazy idea and we object to that. It just sort of happened and there's no discussion, meaning no deliberation of a major policy that the Trump administration said that this is illegal because Planned Parenthood is so closely and tightly controlled. These do not qualify as individual small businesses. They are a big business, not a small business. It is not a small thing to reverse that. Are you telling me that that was reversed with no discussion and no paper trail, and there exists no paper at the Small Business Administration that explains or codifies the deliberative process of how you changed your mind on this?
Well, just to back up again from a factual basis, there was no policy implemented. We issue policies with information
notices. Well, it was because they were told to send the money back. They received letters to send the money back, so you made a different decision. You can't just say, oh, they never made a decision, so we didn't reverse the decision. You reversed the decision because instead of sending the money back to you, and some of them I think were attempting to send the money back to you, and I assume they sent you a check and then you sent it back to them. Did that ever happen?
What I'm happy to define
Did that ever
for you-
happen? That's a specific question. Did
I can't
any of the
speak-
Planned Parenthood send you money back like they were told to, and then did you turn around and send it back to them?
I can't speak to any specific loans, but let me share with you the action taken. The action
And so if I
taken
write you a letter
by-
in 3 months, will you not respond to me again? The thing is this isn't a dispute over whether or not you're being transparent. It isn't a dispute over whether or not you have given the documents. You clearly have not given us the documents. We want the documents to see how Planned Parenthood argued they are eligible for these loans. Trump administration said they weren't. They said they were. You say there was never any deliberative process and there was no paper. I don't know whether to trust you or not. But I can't imagine that an agency like yours doesn't at least even have a meeting. There's no minutes to a meeting where you changed a major decision like this. It's $100 million and no one ever said anything. There's no written documents. You have not been transparent with us, and you haven't given us what we asked for. We can't do the oversight of whether or not Planned Parenthood is a small business or a big business unless you give us the information.
If I
So
may.
you have turned this into a partisan position, whereas there was a time when this was one of the least partisan of all the committees in Washington. But your stonewalling has made it into a partisan position where we can't get together to even meet to see if you can have an assistant because you won't give us the data that we've asked
The
for.
action taken in response to this preliminary determination letter was simply, which was defined, again, that there were just approximately 400 businesses under a hold code, including Planned Parenthood. All the action taken by me was to put those approximately 400 borrowers back into processing, all of them subject to the rules that were put forward by the agency. Of course, those were interim final rule notices, all the FAQs, all the information notices, not preliminary determination.
So the bottom line is you're not going to send us the information we're asking for.
We've complied and sent you extensive information.
You've complied by not sending us what we asked for. What you're saying in a public hearing here is you are not going to send me the information we've asked for. And where do you get the legal authority just to deny Congress what they're asking for?
The agency has historically not provided with proprietary applicant information. In addition, the specific names of employees.
This would be the arguments about whether you're a small business or a big business. We already know the name of the entity, so that's no longer propriety. We've heard of Planned Parenthood. We all know that's what the dispute is about. What their arguments are about whether they're a big business or a small business, you would think would be very objective, and you'd be happy to show that you went through item this, you had a meeting, you all voted that these 5 things they adhered to and they didn't. If that doesn't exist, it means I don't think you were doing your job. If it exists and you won't give it to us, I think that that's reprehensible.
Well, Senator, I'd love to offer you again. I know my team has offered to meet with your staff to
We've
review in
tried
detail.
for a year. You aren't
not.
giving us anything we've asked for. Every time we've asked, we wait 3 months and you send us a letter saying, oh, well, we'll give you this and this, but we won't give you this. We want to see the communications. We want to see the deliberative process about why you made this decision. Here's why I'm also troubled by this, and I'll end with this. In testimony before Congress on November 16th of 2021, you stated that you were not aware of Planned Parenthood affiliates receiving forgiveness on their loans. We now have the data, and apparently they were forgiven on July 1st. So 3-4 months after the loans were forgiven, you come before us and say you don't have any idea whether they've been forgiven or not.
I'm not aware of individual loans, and so I became aware when I cleared a letter to this committee, which was after
You're not
that
aware
point.
of it, but we've been asking about it for a year, so I would think it would be something that would rise to your attention. But the bottom line is, all it would take would be if you really believed what you said in the beginning, that you believed in transparency, if you gave us the documents, this could be over. But you have stonewalled us back and forth, over and over again. No evidence of what the deliberative process was on how you reversed a major decision by the previous administration, and now no documentation on what the arguments for why Planned Parenthood is either a small business or a big business. So I'm disappointed and will continue to be asking questions. And the thing is that ultimately I think the taxpayers deserve better.